The aroma of jasmine and gardenia still lingered in my memory, a ghost of the scent from the flower market that day. It had been Sarah's idea, my daughter, to incorporate those specific blooms into her wedding. Every detail, from the hand-stitched lace on her gown to the bespoke menu featuring her favorite childhood dishes, had been meticulously planned over the last year and a half. And every single detail, every dream, every whispered wish, had come with a price tag that my husband, Arthur, and I were more than happy to pay. Because this wasn't just a wedding, it was Sarah's dream day, and as her parents, our greatest joy was to see her happy. Sarah, my only daughter, was getting married to Mark. Mark was, well, he was a character. Charismatic, ambitious, undeniably handsome, and from a family with old money and even older expectations. He swept Sarah off her feet, and for a while, I believed he truly loved her. Our initial concerns about his somewhat arrogant demeanor were brushed aside by Sarah's radiant happiness. She was head over heels, and we wanted nothing more than to support her. The wedding budget had ballooned over time, first from an already generous sum to something truly extravagant, eventually settling around the $500,000 mark. Arthur and I, comfortable in our own success, hadn't batted an eye. This was our legacy, our gift to our daughter as she embarked on a new chapter. We'd secured the most breathtaking venue in the region, a historic estate with sprawling gardens and a grand ballroom. The catering was Michelin star level, the band was flown in from New York, and the guest list, meticulously curated by Sarah and Mark, included over 200 of their closest friends and family. Or so I thought. We had poured our hearts, souls, and considerable financial resources into making this the most unforgettable day imaginable for them. I had spent countless hours with Sarah, choosing fabrics, tasting cakes, and discussing seating arrangements. Arthur had handled the logistics, ensuring every vendor was paid on time and every contract was ironclad. We were a team, working tirelessly, all for Sarah. Then came the week of the wedding. A whirlwind of last-minute fittings, spa treatments, and family arriving from out of town. The rehearsal dinner was scheduled for Friday evening, a beautiful, intimate affair at a charming local restaurant, meant to bring our families together before the grand event. I was buzzing with excitement, a mother's proud anticipation swelling in my chest. Sarah seemed a little distant, preoccupied, but I attributed it to pre-wedding jitters. Every bride gets them, right? I tried to offer comfort, a listening ear, but she often brushed me off, saying she was just stressed. I worried, but I didn't push. I just wanted her to be happy. Thursday evening, just hours before the rehearsal dinner, the phone rang. It was Sarah. Her voice, usually so bright and full of life, was oddly flat. "Mom," she began, a slight tremor in her tone, "Mark and I need to talk to you and Dad." My heart gave a little lurch. This wasn't like Sarah. "Of course, sweetheart. Is everything all right? Are you having second thoughts?" I asked, my voice laced with concern. No, nothing like that," she quickly reassured me, though her conviction felt forced. "It's just about the guest list for tomorrow night. And the wedding." Arthur and I exchanged a puzzled glance. The guest list was finalized months ago. We had even received RSVPs. "What about it, darling?" Arthur asked, taking the phone from my hand, sensing my growing unease. Sarah took a deep breath. "Mark and I have decided, we're cutting down the list for the rehearsal dinner. And for the wedding itself, we've decided to only invite the truly important people." A cold knot began to form in my stomach. Important people? What did that even mean? We were her parents. We had paid for everything. "Sarah, what are you talking about?" I interjected, taking the phone back, my voice sharper than I intended. "Who exactly are these important people?" We've already confirmed everything. There was a pause, a pregnant silence that stretched for what felt like an eternity. Then, Mark's voice, smooth and condescending, cut through the line. He must have been on speakerphone. "Eleanor, look, we appreciate everything you and Arthur have done. Truly. But Sarah and I have decided that for such an exclusive, high-profile event, we really need to focus on connections that will benefit our future. Business associates, influential family members, that sort of thing." My blood ran cold. "Are you saying you're uninviting people?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Some, yes," Sarah said, her voice still unnervingly calm. "We've already sent out new, smaller invitations for the rehearsal dinner. And for the wedding, a select few. We just want to make sure the right people are there." Then came the blow that shattered my world. "And Mom, Dad," Sarah continued, her voice devoid of any warmth, "we've decided that for the wedding itself, we'd prefer if you and your side of the family didn't attend. It's nothing personal, just, we need to present a certain image. And honestly, your presence might dilute that." The receiver slipped from my trembling fingers, clattering against the polished hardwood floor. Arthur rushed to pick it up, his face a mask of shock and disbelief. He put the phone on speaker. "Sarah, what in God's name are you saying?" he boomed, his voice laced with an anger I rarely heard. "You're uninviting your own parents? The people who are paying for this entire $500,000 spectacle?" "Dad, please understand," Sarah pleaded, a hint of desperation now in her voice, but still no remorse. "It's Mark's family. They have very specific expectations. They want a certain level of exclusivity. We just want to make a good impression." Mark's voice chimed in again, dripping with false sincerity. "Arthur, Eleanor, we love you both. But this is about our future. We'll see you after the honeymoon, of course. We'll have a lovely dinner then, just us." "You'll see us after the honeymoon?" I echoed, my voice hoarse with unshed tears. "After you've thrown us out of our own daughter's wedding? The wedding we paid for?" My mind reeled. The jasmine, the lace, the caterers, the band, the venue, all of it, a monument to their supposed love, paid for by us, and now we were deemed unworthy. Unimportant. My own daughter. My heart felt like it was being squeezed in a vice. Arthur, usually the calmer of us, was livid. "Sarah, Mark, let me be crystal clear. If Eleanor and I, and our family, are not important enough to attend the wedding, then the wedding itself is not important enough to exist. You have exactly 1 hour to call us back, apologize profusely, and retract this absurd, insulting decision. Otherwise, consider everything, absolutely everything, cancelled. Every vendor, every contract, every single penny. Understand?" There was a stunned silence on the other end. Then Sarah's voice, a flicker of fear in it now. "Dad, you can't be serious. Everything is set. The guests are arriving." Mark's voice, now less smooth, more agitated. "Arthur, this is insane. You can't just do that." "Watch me," Arthur said, his voice cold as ice. He hung up the phone without another word. The silence in our living room was deafening, punctuated only by my ragged breathing. Tears streamed down my face, hot and stinging. Not just tears of hurt, but of utter betrayal. My own daughter, whom I had nurtured, loved, and sacrificed for, had deemed me unimportant. She had chosen status and superficial connections over her own family. Arthur pulled me into his arms, holding me tightly as I sobbed. "How could she, Arthur? How could she do this?" I choked out, my voice muffled against his shirt. "After everything. After all the love, all the money," he stroked my hair, his own eyes glistening. I don't know, my love. But we will not stand for it. Not one more second. For the next hour, we waited. My phone, usually a constant source of pings and notifications, remained stubbornly silent. No frantic calls from Sarah, no panicked texts from Mark. Just the deafening silence, confirming their true priorities. They really believed they could discard us and still have their lavish dream wedding, funded by our generosity. They underestimated us. They underestimated a parent's fury when their love is trampled upon. As the hour mark approached, Arthur looked at me, his jaw set. "Ready?" he asked, his voice firm. I nodded, wiping away my tears, a new resolve hardening in my eyes. The pain was still there, a raw wound, but beneath it, a steely determination had taken root. We were not going to be humiliated. We were not going to be used. Arthur picked up his phone. He started with the wedding planner, a woman named Fiona, who had become a close acquaintance over the past year. "Fiona, it's Arthur Vance. I need you to cancel everything. The venue, the caterers, the band, the florist, the photographer, the cake. Everything. Effective immediately." Fiona, bless her heart, was aghast. "Mr. Vance? What on earth, is everything all right?" "It's the day before the wedding," she explained, her voice filled with panic. Arthur explained, calmly and succinctly, what had transpired. Fiona, a mother herself, was speechless. I understand, Mr. Vance. I am so terribly sorry. I'll make the calls immediately. I'll do my best to mitigate any non-refundable costs, but—" "Don't worry about it, Fiona," Arthur interrupted. "Just make sure it's done. Every single thing. Consider your final payment a bonus for your trouble." Fiona, still reeling, promised to execute our wishes. Next, Arthur called the venue manager, then the head caterer, then the band manager. With each call, a piece of Sarah and Mark's $500,000 dream crumbled into dust. The contracts, while ironclad for the couple, had contingencies for the paying party. We were the paying party, and we were pulling the plug. As Arthur made the calls, I sat beside him, a strange mix of sorrow and grim satisfaction washing over me. This wasn't just about the money, it was about respect. It was about love. And they had shown us neither. They had shown us that we were merely a means to an end, a bottomless ATM for their social climbing aspirations. My heart ached for the daughter I thought I knew, the one who would never have dreamed of such cruelty. But that Sarah was gone, replaced by a cold, calculating stranger. About an hour after Arthur started making calls, my phone finally buzzed. It was Sarah. Her face, when I answered, was a contorted mask of fury and disbelief. "Mom, what have you done? Fiona just called me. She said you canceled everything. The venue, the catering, the flowers. Everything. Are you insane?" Her voice was shrill, accusatory. Gone was the calm, detached tone from earlier. Now, it was pure, unadulterated panic. Mark's face appeared beside hers on the screen, equally enraged. "Eleanor. Arthur. This is an outrage. You can't just destroy our wedding. Do you know how much this is going to cost us?" I looked at my daughter, my heart aching but my resolve firm. "Cost you?" "Sarah, darling, it was going to cost us $500,000. And you deemed us, the ones paying that $500,000, unimportant. You wanted to present a certain image? Well, you've certainly done that. An image of ungrateful, entitled children. But all our guests are arriving. What do we tell them? Sarah wailed, tears finally starting to stream down her face, not of remorse, but of pure self-pity. This is humiliating. My friends are going to think I'm a joke. Perhaps you should have thought of that before you decided to disinvite your own parents and family, Arthur chimed in, his voice unwavering. You wanted an exclusive event with only important people? Congratulations. You now have an incredibly exclusive event. Just you and Mark. Perhaps you can get married in a courthouse, if you can even find one open this late. Mark, his face pale with rage, started to sputter. You'll regret this. My family will hear about this. They'll ruin you. I actually laughed, a hollow, bitter sound. Ruin us? Mark, my dear boy, you seem to forget who holds the purse strings. Your family can't ruin us. They can only ruin you by association with this grotesque display of ingratitude. And frankly, after this, I doubt they'll be too keen on associating with you, let alone Sarah. Sarah dissolved into full-blown hysterics, screaming about how we had destroyed her life, ruined her dreams. Mark, ever the opportunist, quickly tried to backtrack. Eleanor, Arthur, please. We were just stressed. We didn't mean it. It was just a misunderstanding. We want you there. We want everyone there. Please, just call them back. Tell them it was a mistake. A mistake? I asked, my voice dangerously soft. You called us, calmly, definitively, and told us we were unimportant. You told us our presence would dilute your image. That wasn't a mistake, Mark. That was a conscious, cruel decision. And now, you get to live with the consequences of that decision. Arthur added, the wedding is cancelled. It's over. There is no going back. You made your bed, children. Now lie in it. Or rather, don't lie in it, because there's no bed, no venue, no caterer, no flowers, and no wedding. He then hung up, leaving them to their panic and despair. The next few hours were a blur of phone calls and texts from various relatives and friends who had been disinvited, all confused and hurt. We explained, as gently as we could, what had happened. The general consensus was shock, then anger on our behalf. Our family rallied around us, offering comfort and support. They were disgusted by Sarah and Mark's behavior, and they stood by us, not with Sarah. Sarah and Mark tried everything. They called back, begging, pleading, promising to make amends. They tried to get Mark's parents to intervene, but even they, as snobbish as they could be, were appalled by the disrespect shown to us. They chastised Mark, telling him he had severely miscalculated and embarrassed their family. They certainly weren't going to bail him out financially for a wedding that had been so disgracefully handled. The word spread like wildfire through their social circles, and Mark's reputation, once pristine, was now irrevocably tarnished. No influential business associate wanted to be seen associating with a man who treated his future in-laws with such contempt. The $500,000 wedding vanished, just as Arthur had promised. The venue sat empty, the caterers had no feast to prepare, the band played no music, and Sarah's dream gown hung unworn. The financial loss was ours in terms of non-refundable deposits, but it was a small price to pay for our dignity. The true cost, however, was far greater. It was the shattering of a mother's heart, the irreversible damage to a family, and the painful realization that the daughter we loved had become someone we barely recognized. In the aftermath, Sarah and Mark were left with nothing but the wreckage of their ambition. They eventually had a small, private ceremony at a courthouse, a stark contrast to the lavish affair they had so arrogantly planned. Mark's career opportunities, once so promising, dwindled. His influential connections evaporated, replaced by whispers and judgment. Sarah, stripped of the grand wedding and the glittering future she envisioned, tried to reconnect with us, but the chasm was too wide. The words, "only important people," echoed in my mind, a constant reminder of her betrayal. Months turned into a year. The silence between us and Sarah was deafening. There were no apologies, no genuine understanding of the depth of her transgression, just a lingering resentment from her side. She never truly grasped that it wasn't just about the money, but about the profound disrespect and the casual cruelty she had inflicted. She saw us as villains who had ruined her life, not as parents who had been deeply wronged. Arthur and I eventually found a measure of peace. We grieved the loss of our daughter, the one we knew, the one who would never have done such a thing. We found solace in each other, in our unwavering love, and in the support of our true friends and family. The empty space where a daughter once stood was painful, but it was also a space free